This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Right now on 1480 KRAE, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 KRAE. For the Pro Show, I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti, and we get a chance to talk with one of our athletic directors, one of our high school athletic directors. Matter of fact, I know we had a long conversation with the South AD, Wendy, when we were over at South for the James Johnson Winter Classic. This gentleman who joins us, he was kind of running back and forth over at Cheyenne East, but we get a chance to chat with Jerry Schlabs. First off, Jerry, we're going to take the AD hat off, and you had a chance this past Saturday to run to Scottsbluff. And you know it as a coach, and I've called a lot of games out of Scottsbluff. It doesn't matter what kind of team they've got. It's always a tough house to win in. Unfortunately, for your daughter's side, a little rough go, but tell us a little bit what happened there at Scottsbluff, because I know we lost the Riverton game, which would have put the East Lady Thunderbirds in the record books as far as the top dog team with a consecutive win streak. But unfortunately, that one got snowed out because Riverton couldn't make it down here. So you had to go up to Scottsbluff. They had a tough go down here against Central the night before, where the boys won, I think right at the end,
yeah.
And then the girls just got beaten towards the end. But up at Scottsbluff, boy, it was a different story, huh?
Yeah, without a doubt. Scottsbluff, as you know, you're exactly right. You've been there quite often, and it's a tough place to play, but it's a great game to have on the schedule. I mean, the atmosphere is crazy. Their student body gets really into it, even on a Saturday, and you know, and the girls and boys team for Scottsbluff both this year are really good. You know, the girls shot it really well. There was a ton of foul calls, as we see sometimes in Scottsbluff, not just our way but both ways, and we had some kids in foul trouble, and then it was a back and forth game the entire game. And in the fourth quarter, they went on about an 8-0 run on us, and we had to start fouling, and we had some great open shots. I mean, Bo and Brady, Izzy all had open looks there that just didn't fall for us in the fourth quarter, and ended up taking the loss. But what a great run by those girls. I mean, from the kids who started it. I mean, when Brady was a freshman as a dad, you know, she was part of that, which was a ton of fun. And you know, it's been 3 years of kids, or 2.5 years of kids, that kind of had that streak going. And it was really fun to play Douglas to tie it. And that was kind of ironic that happened that way. And then, like you said, you lose the Riverton game, which you know, would have been a good game for us, obviously. But it was a fun Scottsbluff game and a fun atmosphere. And you know, you want to win that game and break the record, but at the same time, it's quite a run. And you know, start a new streak now, I guess. But the nice thing is you can kind of get that out of your head and focus on the upcoming conference season at the same time.
We will talk with head coach Eric Westling as well, too, later on in today's show about that contest and, again, about the 48-game winning streak as well, too. But very quickly, Jerry, as something we were talking off air, something that also, too, has kind of been posted online as well, that Riverton contest, again, which was seemingly, it seemed like it was going to be canceled. Instead, now it looks like it's going to be postponed to a later date. Talk about at least rescheduling that contest to bring down the Lady Wolverines.
Yeah, you bet. We didn't think we were going to be able to do it just with the conference schedule starting, but it just happened to work out with us playing Central next Thursday. Riverton had the weekend open as well, and so we're going to do that on Saturday the 28th here at Cheyenne East, and so that'll be good for us. I mean, it's good to see those teams from the West. You know, you never know when you're going to match up with them in the state tournament. Riverton boys have a heck of a squad this year, and so those will be good games for us to play, and we're glad we didn't lose a game, because we probably, if we wouldn't have been able to play that, you know, next week we probably would have lost it, and you never want to lose a game because everything goes quick these next few weeks or the next few months.
Jerry, very quickly, again, keeping on the theme with basketball, again, talking with at least Coach Westling, you know, again, 48-game winning streak, again, tying the record here, at least on the girls' side in the state of Wyoming. You know, again, coach right now that's got 2 state championships, hoping to at least bring a three-peat here to Cheyenne. You know, again, there was a lot of national attention as well, too, that Cheyenne East on Twitter side, again, whether it was the NFHS, I know a few other outlets, Max Preps as well, too, kind of spotlighting Cheyenne East, putting them on the kind of nationwide map. for you as an athletic director, seeing one of your head coach do this, where again putting Cheyenne East and your athletes on that national spotlight, just talk about the emotions, or talk about just that feeling of that, again, you got something special going on within those halls at Cheyenne East.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, both Coach Horsley and Coach Westling have built tremendous programs, and Coach Horsley was a part of that girls program prior to Coach Westling. And I mean, just to kind of have that culture, and we feel like we do have a heck of a culture over at East High School, and in the basketball program and that girls program, you can kind of use that to sell it to the younger kids. And you have, my daughter being a junior now, she learned it from the kids like, when she was even young, when she was a 5th, 6th, 7th grader, she hung out and was in the gym with Cosette and Sierra Stellar and those types of kids, and the Ericksons. And, there's always these groups of kids that come in, and you hope they kind of, teach the younger kids to carry on that tradition of how hard you have to work. Even this year, my daughter is a junior, and Bo as a senior, and Izzy as a senior. Those kids talk about Taylor Cassett as a senior. They talk about, we have a mix of kind of veterans that have a lot of time, and then some kids, freshmen who play for us that don't have a lot of time. And so, you kind of gotta you gotta show them, you gotta mentor them, teach them, at the same time, do your thing. And so, it's quite a culture and quite a tradition, and they've done a great job, and Coach Wesley's done a great job, doing that in the off season and during the season, and those young kids know what they need to do, and it goes all the way down to the elementary level.
It's interesting too, Jerry, and I know you will. I hope I don't embarrass you a little bit, but a lot of that credit for this East High Lady Thunderbirds program goes back to you, Rob Redmond. And then when you took over the program, you and Paul Listman, you guys basically birthed this program to where it's at today. Because, again, I go back to when I first got here, I think Larry Unger was the head coach. We had a couple of seasons, then it just kind of went down. It fell off the face of the earth. But this East High program, matter of fact, when I was walking the halls when we were getting ready to do those games, just looking at the hardware right now, as of late with the Lady Thunderbirds, my goodness, you have, again, you kind of set the foundation, so you have to be a little proud of that. But it's an amazing program what's going on with the Lady Thunderbirds right now.
Yeah, without a doubt, and I appreciate that, Larry. We did have a good thing going, and I am proud of it, and I know that Coach Listman and those guys that were part of that, with the years of Alexis Pappas and Megan McGuffey and those kids, they kind of started that trend. Like you said, we made it to a couple of state championships. Never really finished lower than second in our conference, and I think kind of set the foundation for what's happening now. And obviously, you have to do that with good kids that work hard and are talented kids. Because that's what you need to do, and great relationships with those kids. But no, I appreciate that, and we are proud of that, and those were a lot of fun times together.
A lot of hardware too. I saw over at Cheyenne Central when we were in Chad's offices. Mm-hmm. So again, that's kind of the flag bearer right now that Cheyenne East always tries to match up with Cheyenne Central. So again, it's kind of a neat feeling. To me, whether the Lady Thunderbirds get the three-peat, as Nick mentioned, whether the Cheyenne Central Lady Indians get to that big dance, and hopefully South, under Brody Epler, they get that opportunity. But it is really nice that this southeast part of the state, represented by our Cheyenne schools, you know what? We're almost in the mix.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, you mentioned South and Coach Epler. He's done a great job. Coach DeBryan before him had a couple of quality teams the last couple of years that he was coaching, and they're up and coming. This year probably is as tough as girls' conference as we've seen in a while. As on the east side, as we always see, the East is always, in basketball seems like it's a little tougher than the West. And this year, our girls are very similar to what the boys usually face every year. I mean, there's any team that can win it. You could be first or you could be eighth, and that's how it is with our girls program. And like you said, Coach Kirkbride over at Central has a solid team with some good seniors and some young kids that are very talented. And Laramie's undefeated. That's going to be a heck of a game this week for us and Central. And the teams up north. You got Thunder Basin, who has the big kid, Campbell County. I mean, we beat them by 3. They have they're kind of like the old Campbell County where they're just running and gunning. And so it's going to be a battle to make state. And with our East girls, in the last few years where we've been pretty dominant, they have to battle every game, and it's going to take those older kids being great leaders and those younger kids getting better as the year progresses, and hopefully we'll be a much better team at the end of the year than we are now.
As we're talking again, winter sports right now, again, successful right now for boys and girls basketball at Cheyenne East, again, as both teams looking to get back in that state title, at least game as we saw last season. But let's go back, Jerry, as we haven't had the opportunity to reflect back on our fall sports season where we talk about potential hardware or great teams. Again, Cheyenne East football, once again, getting that state title game. Fortunately, fell short to a very talented Sheridan Bronx team. But again, we're starting to see that success with Chad Goff. We know what he's capable of. That team is is expected to make to that state title game year in and year out. Again, we know volleyball is successful. We got golf going on. But let's recap fall sports at Cheyenne East and talk about what success we saw at Cheyenne East.
You bet. So for we were excited obviously with our girls swim team. They had great numbers out. It's the first time we've been able to have a pool in about 4 years. So that's been huge for both our boys and girls swim teams, just being able to have a home and being able to practice. And people really don't understand how that affects the program. You don't get to practice like the other schools do. You have to get into their pools when you have the opportunity. And so that was big for our girls swimmers. Our cross-country team had, just when you're always looking at numbers, we had probably more numbers than we've had in cross-country forever, so Coach Fournier is doing a great job. Tennis, who came off of one of their best seasons ever last year on the girls' side, Coach Cameron's doing a great job building that program. We have more and more kids coming out for tennis. And then, our golf team's always kind of in the mix right there, and so they've been top 2-3 for a long time. And I know Coach Hardigan, Coach Oswald looking to get over the hump and get a championship with there, and have some good kids coming back. And then, like you said, of course, with the football team, they had a great year. Thought we had a great chance to win it. Sheridan, it's funny because I feel like we're as good or better than Sheridan. You play them 10 times, maybe we beat them 5, maybe they beat us 5. They had a great night that night, and but we had a heck of a talented team, and Coach Goff, like you said, the expectation is to be, have an opportunity to compete in a state championship every year. And, we're losing some good kids, but we're going to be loaded next year again, and we're bringing back a very talented group that we hope can make that run and finish it off.
I'm glad Nick brought that up, especially about fall and leading into winter sports. And, of course, we also have wrestling going on now in addition to hoops. And I posed this question to either you or Chad or when Mark was over at Cheyenne South, and this was a few years back, saying, is it still cool to be a student athlete? And I think with the addition of girls fast pitch, that other opportunity for the ladies to come on out and they don't want to play soccer, they want to play softball. It seems like now the participation level at all three schools is running pretty good. We saw with the new head coach at South, numbers were up this year for football especially. We're just seeing more kids coming out and participating. That's got to bode well for all three of the high schools.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to give those kids those opportunities. And our district does a tremendous job of giving, supporting the athletes, supporting the schools as far as facilities and equipment and those types of things. And I think numbers are up all the way around. I mean, our wrestlers this year, we're at 92, almost 100 wrestlers, which is 30 more than we've ever had before. And that's obviously, and then we're excited about the addition of girls wrestling, and that's going to just continue to build similar to the softball teams. And so, we have some things to figure out with the girls wrestling, just as far as scheduling and tournaments and practicing and things like that. But that's going to be a heck of a sport and a fun thing to even this year to watch the state tournament. And so, numbers are very important. We want to provide those kids opportunities. Like I said, our coaches do a tremendous job of providing those opportunities, and then a lot of those sports, that depth wins. I mean, when you talk about track, indoor track, outdoor track, swimming, the more depth you have, the better opportunities you have to have success. And ultimately, obviously, we're high school first and education first, but it's a proven fact that kids involved in activities and athletics, they have a better experience and do better in school. And so we're going to keep pushing them to get out as much as possible.
For you, Jerry, again, as we talk about the addition of girls wrestling and fast pitch as well, too, here in the state of Wyoming, for your aspect, is there, and again, this is kind of hopeful wishing, or at least kind of on your side, but is there a sport that you would like to see eventually added to, again, the state of Wyoming when we have enough resources, enough teams on board? For instance, I toss out, I know at Cheyenne when I was there, again, there was kind of a lacrosse team, or at least kind of an outside Chinese, at least lacrosse team. But either way, though, again, we know that we're starting to get into that. Also, to esports, we see with LCCC, we see with UW, again, a lot of at least higher education getting into that aspect. But what's lacking that you'd like to see in the future added to Cheyenne East, or at least in the state of Wyoming?
Like you said, we're asked a lot about lacrosse, and I think that's happening. They called it East Thunderbird lacrosse or Indian lacrosse, and that's kind of stayed steady with the city thing there. And people ask about baseball. Obviously, now that softball has happened, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. It's going to be a tough one just because I don't know. Everything that had to happen. I was really surprised actually when softball happened that the club teams and things were so open to that to that being a high school sport, and it's been very successful. I mean, it's worked like it should. We have extra kids, like Larry talked about earlier, that have come out that may not come out for a sport. I don't know if baseball will be the same or not if that were ever to happen. Esports, I think, will probably be the next thing, to tell you the truth, because that's happening all over the nation, and we start getting a lot of communication. We started to get a lot of communication and contact about other schools that are doing that and wanting to do that. I think Gillette has an esports team now that they're looking to have some competitions down here, and so that'll probably be the next thing. Like you said, anything that doesn't really take away from some of the things that we already do, because we're not giant schools, and if those opportunities can help kids to get involved, then we're all for it. And like you said, now that you have wrestling, you almost have a girls' sport that's one more than boys, and so I could foresee someone talking about baseball or something like that in the near future.
We're talking with Jerry Schlabs. He's the East High Athletic Director. I was going to have you walk us through the Winter Classic. And again, we're fortunate, and all three of the high schools have been fortunate. McDonald's first stepped up to the plate, followed by Taco John's. Walk us through James Johnson Winter Classic. And again, Nick, you know James very well. You guys both went to school together. But again, he's had so much success in the NBA. He may be a journeyman in the NBA, but he's been well rewarded for his efforts. And again, former East High graduate. Walk us through how James Johnson's name got applied to this year's Winter Classic.
Oh, you bet, and I appreciate that. You're right. We're very thankful for McDonald's and Taco John's for sponsoring in the past, and they were a tremendous sponsor for us in not only the tournament but in other things. But it's just gotten so budgets have changed, things have gotten more expensive. The officials, their rates go up, and deservingly so, with what they have to do. And so we were just looking for a little bit more of a more concrete sponsor, someone that might be able to help us a little bit more, someone that could maybe be a little bit more long term than some of those. And Mr. Marich and I just talking actually, and we said, what about James? We're so fortunate to have people like James and Brandon Nimmo and Brody Kress and those guys that are from East High School that have had the success they've had in their careers. And like you said, James, I think the average career in the NBA is 3 years. He's been there for 13 or 14 now. And so, like you said, he's had quite a career. And so we called him. He didn't even hesitate. It was really funny. We were up at the Casper Invite and gave him a call. He FaceTimed us in between games. He was sitting there in the locker room with the Pacers, FaceTiming us, getting ready for a game, and said he would love to help out. He wants to help out not only East but the other kids in the community and give back a little bit, because he realizes what the community and East High School did for him, to help him get through high school and have the career he has. And so he was more than excited to do it. We love, of course, attaching a local high school kid, whether it's East Central or South, to the tournament. And we've talked to him about just making it bigger and better in the future. And we couldn't be more proud and happy to have James be the sponsor of it. And I think everyone in the community was really happy with that as well.
And thankfully, the Winter Classic able to be played at the Thunderdome as well, too, for Cheyenne East, where, again, in years past, I do believe last season, again, dealing with the maintenance issues, again, clearing up the water. But, again, Thunderdome is back in action. We talk about the swim pool there at Cheyenne East. Again, it's regulation size, and, again, able for both boys and girls swimming to at least compete there at Cheyenne East. We look at Okie Blanchard Sports Complex, one of the top facilities here in the state of Wyoming. Basically, what I'm getting to, Jerry, again, we talk about facilities right now. We know for Cheyenne East on the football side, again, that turf soon to be at least replaced and kind of brand new, similar to what happened to Cheyenne Central. But facilities right now, are there things you're hopeful to at least get a little financial funding to at least improve upon, or at Cheyenne East, especially with the brand new pool? Are we pretty much set for a couple of years that facilities for Cheyenne East athletics are pretty top notch?
Yeah, we were so lucky, and the district has done a tremendous job of providing us with those facilities like we've talked about in the past. We're looking to, the one thing we are looking to do is what we're going to do with our old swimming pool. And, as in every house, every business, every company, you need more storage. And so we have that old swimming pool area that we have some ideas for, whether we move a weight room in there and extend our wrestling room. Right now, our wrestlers practice in the wrestling room. In the cafeteria, we have to lay down mats every day. And so you always need more space. And whether, we make that a wrestling room, whether we make it a classroom, sometimes we need places for our ROTC, our special ed classes, and our cheerleaders who don't really have a space that they can go to. So we'd love to see something done with that, the swimming pool, which we have some plans in the works, and we just have to decide and work with the district to see if there's going to be funding or what we have to do with that. And if we do that, where we move some of the weight room or the wrestling room, and then that opens some space up in their current areas for maybe a new athletic training room where we can make it a little bit bigger area for that, because we just kind of have a little closet for that right now, and obviously more storage. And so that would be our one thing on our wish list. But how soon that happens, I don't know. But otherwise, we're sitting really, really well, like you said. Okie's amazing. Our gyms are amazing. Both have new floors. The swimming pool is if not the top in the state, one of the top in the state, where we're going to hopefully host state in 2 years at the swimming pool. We're really lucky and we're really fortunate, and it's been nice that Carrie's been down by our school now, because we have an opportunity where we can send some overflow practices down to their gym as well. So, we're pretty fortunate with where we're at.
The other facility as well, too, Cheyenne Junior League fields for softball. Again, we've had this topic of conversation again a few times with you, Jerry, and again, the other athletic directors here in town. But Cheyenne Junior League, again, hosting our softball programs here in town. Again, the thought was maybe at one point in time we would have, again, facilities for all three high schools to use around town. Are we happy with Junior League fields? Or are we still looking to the future of building individual sites, ballparks at Cheyenne East, Central, and South? Give us kind of an update on the state for softball and their facilities.
Yeah, I think right now we're pretty set on the Cheyenne Junior League softball fields, and the cities and the district are doing a great job working together with that. They built a new concession area, storage building last year. We're still looking for a little bit more storage that we can have for the separate teams at the softball complex. I don't think they're going to have separate fields in the future. Right now, there's not been a lot of talk about that. At one point, there was talk about possibly having a district complex where you had 3 fields that would kind of be in the same area. And I don't think that's off the table right now. But right now, I think the focus is on continuing the city in conjunction with the district. They fix the scoreboards out there. They put a sound system out there. They continue to work on the turf, and so it's a nice facility for those girls, and has only gotten better each year. And so we're excited for those additional things. I mean, something as simple as a scoreboard and a sound system makes a big difference in the game day atmosphere for those kids.
And again, I know time's getting a little short here with you, Jerry, and we do appreciate you coming in. You said something that was very important, and I want to dwell on that a little bit, because we know over at UW, and UW is always – I don't want to use the word cry, but they're always needing alumni help. And you mentioned, James and Brody as well as Brandon. And we had that nice conversation with Wendy before the Cheyenne South game against Green River, where those first classes have come back now, as alumni, and they're there at the beckoning call for the South High sports programs. And again, Cheyenne Central has a storied sports program as well as Cheyenne East. But talk about the alumni, and again, where you mentioned, hey, we're not going to get all the money for the pool, but folks seem to come and pony up to the bar, help you out when times are stretched a little thin.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, even through those COVID years when it was tough for everybody, I'm not only alumni, but not necessarily East High alumni, but just people who have gone to school East Central South here in town. Our businesses do such a tremendous job of sponsoring. We've had sponsors that have been with us before I was AD when Mr. Bellamisi was here, Mr. Tin Benzel, and they've stayed with us the entire time through tough times and times that aren't tough. And so we get great support from the community, obviously, with a lot of our athletic sponsorships. And then like you said, it is nice when somebody who, when you have alumni that want to kind of give back. And then we're fortunate where people like James and Brandon, those guys, that's obviously some pretty special situations. But every year we have somebody who calls and asks, and hey, I graduated from here. What can we do to help with this program? I was into cross country. Can I donate to cross country or the entire athletic program, or specifically to one of our sports? And we can't. You can't operate without that. You can't continue to make things better for those kids without that. The district does a tremendous job with our funding and our budgets. But at the same time, to give the kids a little extras, whether it's travel suits or a little bit better equipment here or there, you kind of have to have that fundraising, and you have to have those people that have been a part of something and realize what you're trying to do, help in those situations. And we're pretty fortunate to have that happen year in and year out.
Well, Jerry, I know I speak on behalf of Nick. We want to say thank you, too, for the kindness, the open arms that you usually give us over at both the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex, as well as now getting back to the Thunderdome. We are looking so forward to being back in the Thunderdome again. So we want to thank you wholeheartedly for all that you've done for us.
Well, I appreciate that, and I don't think you guys get enough thanks as well, what you do for the kids in the community. And it's a tireless job, and they don't know the hours you put in on the road or even in studio and at the games. And we really appreciate you guys, because it's a big thing. Kids and families love hearing their names and hearing what's going on, and you guys do a tremendous job. So we really appreciate you as well.
Jerry Schlabs, East High Athletic Director, also Pop too. He's still watching Garrett play some hoops and watching Brady play some hoops as well too. So I don't know. Once in a while, you get a chance to sneak away from that athletic director. Only when you're on the road, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Jerry. We'll catch up with you again down the road here as we get into conference season. We're going to be back after this timeout. You are listening to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti. He's Nick Proietti. We're back after these words.
For nearly 30 years, family-owned and operated Lennox Auto Body, along with the Auto Glass and Detail Center, has been serving our community with quality and customer satisfaction. It's a pretty simple drill. When you want it done right the first time, call Lennox Auto Body for an appointment at 307-634-6608. Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue. And the Auto Glass and Detail Center. Remember, it's not clean until it's Lennox clean at 617 East Pershing Boulevard.
Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
There may be a chill in the air, but the action is always hot and heavy at the three locations of Wyoming Downs in the Cheyenne Plaza, inside the Outlaw Saloon on the South Greeley Highway, and on Delrange Boulevard next to Culver's and Office Depot. You can watch and place your pari-mutuel wager on a variety of simulcast horse races from the nation and the world's tracks. And check out the excellent selections of games offered by Wyoming Downs, where you can win a lot of cash. Remember to pick up your player's card and enjoy Triple Points Monday and Club 55 midweek, along with other specials. Win big today and bring your friends to Wyoming Downs in the Cheyenne Plaza, inside the Outlaw Saloon on the South Greeley Highway and at 1345 Delrange Boulevard. For more information, go to wydowns.com.
Are you 60 plus and love to travel? Introducing the Senior Travel Discount Network, brought to you by Low Cost Airlines. Call us anytime, day or night, and save up to 75% on your airline and hotel reservations. We can help you save a ton of money to fly almost anywhere. We have inside discounts on over 500 airlines and 500,000 hotels worldwide. And when you call and mention the discount code 60 plus, we'll give you an extra free night with your qualified air and hotel reservation. Now you can get the best prices on air and hotel reservations with your phone. We make it easy and fast for you to save money and book a trip. Remember, call the Senior Travel Discount Network, mention the discount code 60 plus for your free hotel night with your qualified reservation. Call now.
800-510-7126. 800-510-7126. 800-510-7126. That's 800-510-7126.
Hi, it's Lee at Absolute Flooring. It's time to put 2022 behind us and get 2023 off to a great start. The best way to do that is with new flooring from Absolute Flooring. With a large variety of flooring products and a multitude of styles, colors, and prices, your new floor awaits you. And with the best in installers, get your new year started off right with a stop at Absolute Flooring in the Cheyenne Plaza and at AbsoluteFlooringWIO.com. Remember, it's always your home, your floor, your store, absolutely.
1480 K-Ray is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. To hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 K-Ray features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 K-Ray, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480kray.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, partly sunny with increasing clouds. Expected daytime high near 35. Snow on tap later today. A winter storm watch is in effect for tonight through tomorrow. Snow for this evening. New snow accumulation of 3 to 5 inches possible. Our low drop it down to 20. And for tomorrow Wednesday, snow likely under a cloudy sky, blustery conditions. Look for a daytime high of only 29 degrees.
And we welcome you back to the Pro Show. It's always fun on Tuesdays, again, with our new format as we kind of keep it on the local side. A lot of local sports going on. And again, more in the hoop realm right now. And this includes Cheyenne Central, Cheyenne East, Cheyenne South, Burns, and Pine Bluffs. And speaking of Burns and Pine Bluffs, looking forward to Saturday afternoon. You and myself will be checking out that county matchup in Class 2A. Thursday night, we will be at Story for East and Cheyenne South to kick off the conference season. We got a busy couple
South
days
is,
coming up.
at least in that contest, South is the host team, even though it's a neutral site at Story Gymnasium, which, again, has been the format for many a year now. Again, when we have the crosstown battle, but, again, East, South, again, the host team at Story Gymnasium. Again, looking forward to that contest. That's this Thursday, 6 and 7:30. Again, girls up first, boys up second, again, in basketball action. Looking forward to that here on 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480kray.com on the audio side. Video live streaming as we do on the 1480 K-Ray YouTube channel. As you mentioned, Saturday's action, again, 4:30 and 6 will be the tentative tap times over in Burns, as Burns, Bronx, and Lady Bronx will play host to the Pine Bluffs Hornets and Lady Hornets. So looking forward to that 2A, again, Battle of Laramie County matchup, which, again, we will have those teams once again when they face off each other in Pine later on, at least in the month of February. So looking forward to that. But that's kind of the weekend upcoming for us broadcast schedule-wise, pending any weather, as that's what we experienced this weekend, especially with our contest on Thursday with Riverton and Cheyenne East, which, again, got postponed, as Jerry alluded to, that, again, will happen later on this month. Again, it was supposed to happen Thursday. Snowstorm hit. Roads were closed out of Riverton, so unfortunately that game was not able to be played, which could have been, for Cheyenne East's sake, on the ladies' side, that 49th win, and would have been history, especially that Lady Wolverines of Riverton, again, struggling a bit this year. East, again, the dominant team that they are. But, again, it is what it is for Cheyenne East. Unfortunately, again, had to focus their efforts Saturday on the road against a very talented Scotts Bluff team. And unfortunately, as we've talked about and everyone has seen, again, we will talk with Coach Westling about the situation. But unfortunately, again, on the road against Scotts Bluff, against the Lady Bearcats, and I kind of mentioned to you as well, too, as we were previewing the upcoming weekend for Cheyenne East, that's going to be a tough contest, and it was. And unfortunately, Cheyenne East fell short. Final on Saturday in that contest was Scotts Bluff picking up the 69-55 victory over the East High Lady Thunderbirds.
You know, let's not sell that Scotts Bluff program short. They year in, year out. And again, too, we're talking Western Nebraska. We're talking Creighton. We're talking Chadron State. We're talking University of Nebraska. Always has their eyes on the talent. that comes through Scottsbluff, Nebraska. So again, we look at Cheyenne East, and it's a very talented outfit, and deservedly so. But also too, in the years that I have had that opportunity to go cover up there at Scottsbluff, those eyes of those various schools have also been upon those various programs, whether it's boys or girls. So, and again, you look at that community of Scottsbluff right now. Over the last few years, they've been putting out some good basketball programs matching up against our local teams.
Well, again, whether it's the girls or the boys, we go back a couple seasons ago, boys action between Cheyenne Central, the undefeated at the time Indians team. Again, that team that fell short of the state tournament as well, too, due to that regional format. But again, they were unbeaten at the point in time and, again, remained unbeaten in the regular season in the state of Wyoming, but did go over to Scottsbluff and lost to that Bearcats team. So Scottsbluff is kind of had Cheyenne's number, whether it's East, Central, or South, especially as you look back to Friday's action for Central. The Lady Indians taking on that same Lady Bearcats team. Bearcats got the victory 61-58 over Cheyenne Central. So, again, Scottsbluff back-to-back nights at home, taking down Cheyenne East and Cheyenne Central on the girls' side. So, give them credit. Scottsbluff, a talented team, and, again, took down the best team in Class 4A on the girls' side, being Cheyenne East. So, ends the streak, or at least ends the streak, the record at 48 games for Cheyenne East. Again, ties Douglas of last year's mark. So, again, did not set the record, but, again, tied the record for the Eastside Lady Thunderbirds. So, again, a new record starts, at least hopefully coming up this Thursday, as they will take on Cheyenne South. So, we shall see. Looking at other scores as well, too, very quickly. We mentioned, again, Burns in 2A action. Granted, this was at least out-of-state opponent. Tuesday's action, again, taking on Bridgeport. Bridgeport took care of business pretty handily. That's also to a talented team in that lower classification out there in Nebraska, winning that game 78-35 over the Lady Bronx. Friday's action as well, we mentioned Central losing to Scottsbluff in 1A versus 2A matchup. How about Southeast getting it done against Pine Bluffs, the Lady Hornets? Southeast winning it 42-27. Other Saturday action, Cheyenne South taking on 3A Wheatland on the road. Wheatland wins that contest 59-31. Pine Bluffs, they took on Holyoke out of Colorado. Pine Bluffs, the Lady Hornets won that game 41-18. So looking at the standings right now on the girls' side, we'll start with Class 4A in the Southeast Quadrant. And as Jerry mentioned, again, we know that this Lady Plainsman team is talented. They're 12-0. They're 12-0. We will see what happens coming up this weekend when they take on Central and East, without a doubt. See how they can respond to taking on some of the upper echelon teams here in the Southeast Quadrant. So, but right now, Laramie, Lady Plainsman in Class 4A on the Southeast side, again, unbeaten at 12-0. Behind them is Cheyenne East with that one loss at 9-1. Cheyenne Central behind East at 8-2, and Cheyenne South with one victory. They are 1-10 here in 2022-2023.
If you were a voter, and you are, it's kind of tough to knock East out of that number one spot on the girls' side.
You're going to hand, but you have to. Cody's going to be that number one team.
You have to respect, though, the Lady Plainsmen. They are going to get a couple 3 votes for that first place, whether they are number 2 or number 3 this week. And again, I can't really see East dropping off that much.
Is Laramie the best team in this quadrant on the girls' side? No. They're going to have to prove something this weekend. And again, their future battles, especially here in the Eastern Conference. But again, they sit at 12-0. Again, are they the better team here in the Southeast Quadrant on the girls' side? No. I think it's Cheyenne East. I put Cheyenne Central above them. And then Laramie, they're sitting in that 3 spot. We shall see what happens if this Lady Plainsman team is for real. Will Laramie, on the girls' side, make it to the state tournament? I think so. I think they have a good shot. Yeah. But again, as we look up to the northeast side, Sheridan sitting at 7-2, Thunder Basin at 8-3, 7-4 for Natrona, Campbell County at 6-5. You got all 4 teams sitting above 500 right now in that at least northeast quadrant. So again, you still have to pose those teams. You still have to at least kind of match up with them to see how you size up. But again, and especially with that East Regional happening in Natrona County, that's going to be the kind of the telltale thing of can a Laramie team, and again, I think Cheyenne East is a guarantee to make it to the state tournament to represent the East. Central, again, we've seen the play of them. They're kind of iffy for me right now, but I believe that the Lady Indians can. Laramie, though, again, don't know enough. We saw them down in Greeley. They are a for real team, but when they take on Wyoming talent now, and again, especially this Eastern Conference, They're a low-end fringe team that could be that dark horse program that makes it the state tournament on the girls' side, but who knows right now?
Even if Laramie draws a split this weekend, I think you pretty much get an idea that they got a very good chance.
If they get a split this weekend, then I kind of feel a little bit more comfortable saying, all right, you might vault Central, and you should be in that state tournament, I think. Again, going back to the polls as well, too, the Wild Preps Media and Coaches poll, again, East will probably take a step back, probably move down to number 2, and Cody will be your number 1 team. But outside of that, I don't think Cheyenne East is going to fall down in the polls just due to the fact of, again, the one loss on the road against a very talented Lady Bearcats team that, again, took care of business against Cheyenne Central as well, too, and probably could beat any other team here in the state of Wyoming. I don't think they're going to tumble on down further in that polls, but again, to Coach Westling and his Lady Thunderbirds, polls, all that stuff via Wild Preps is not really anything they keep an eye on.
Well, and again, too, you look at the Cheyenne Central Lady Indians, Nick, they did not lose by much to the Lady Bearcats this past weekend, okay? And that was in the field house. So, again, they were competitive. And again, Cheyenne East obviously very competitive at Scotts Bluff, which is always a tough house to play in over when they took on the Lady Bearcats. So Central has, to me, proven their worth as well. And are they the outside shot to get into the Final Four this year?
If they lose to Laramie, if they lose to Laramie, I like I said, I'll put the Lady Plainsmen above them, saying, all right, you're a legit contender right now to at least in probably the last team to make it out of the East Regional to go represent in the state tournament.
But the one thing I do like about Cheyenne Central, and we've mentioned this to Glenn Kirkbride as well, they're kind of like the cardiac kids. They get down, and somehow, some way, they battle. I mean, this is a team that plays 32 minutes on the floor. They give you their all. But when they get down, they don't let it bother them.
Yeah.
They have that much moxie about them to come back, and next thing you know, they're leading by 4 or 5 points, and they're winning the game. So, I really like the makeup of Cheyenne Central.
Which, again, Cheyenne Central's doing that against some West teams where, again, we talk about the talent here and, again, the favoritism here in the Eastern Conference. Well, again, if you're that part of this Eastern Conference and one of the top-tier teams, you got to start playing like it, where, again, when they take on, and again, not so much against Cheyenne East. I don't think East, or at least, I don't think Central's going to win either of those matchups against the East High Lady Thunderbirds. Sorry, I think the Lady Thunderbirds, as I've alluded to, and I will continue to kind of toot their horn, saying they are the best team in this state in Class 4A, and they should three-peat as state champions. But again, it might be a tall task, or at least they should face off against that Cody Lady Bronx team. But for Cheyenne Central, you got to start playing that consistent ball where, again, we talked about, again, look at that Northeast. When you take on those teams, whether it's hosting or going up there to Gillette, to Sheridan, or to Casper, to Seton, to Trona County, you got to play an A game to get some of those victories against these teams that, again, are pretty damn talented as well, too.
Well, and again, I like the makeup of both teams, Cheyenne East, Cheyenne Central, okay? Lady Thunderbirds, again, with those 3 freshmen, they are just absolutely superb for Cheyenne East. You look at the Cheyenne Central Lady Indians, again, you got some veteran talent mixed in with some younger talent. And the younger talent, to me, the Barrett kid, the Wade kid, and again, just mentioning a couple of those names, they go in there and they're fighters. I just like the way they play. They got a lot of grit about them. So you never know. You just never. You might hand both games to Cheyenne East right now. I'm not one to step out on that limb yet. Stranger things have happened.
I think that boys' action between East and Central will be a little bit more competitive than the girls' side. I think just the Lady Thunderbirds are just overall that better team. And, again, we'll prove it. Had a chance to, again, against Scotts Bluff. And, again, lost it in a close effort. Again, Jerry kind of gave his point of view, at least, again, attending that contest over the weekend. Again, we'll talk with Coach Westling at the bottom of the second hour here of the Pro Show to get his thoughts on that contest. But either way, again, I think Cheyenne East is the best team here in the state, not just in the Southeast, not in the Eastern Conference, but, again, still the best. I think they'll prove that as they get into conference action. And, again, talking very quickly about this Thursday's contest, what a way to get healthy. And nothing against Cheyenne South and Coach Epler. Again, they sit right now at 1-10. Lost to a very talented Lady Bulldogs team on the road against Wheatland. Again, give them credit, even though Wheatland is a 3A school. Still, again, Wheatland Lady Bulldogs, we saw them part of that Winter Classic. They're a talented bunch. But for Cheyenne South and for Cheyenne East, and again, more specifically for the East High Lady Thunderbirds, what a game for them on the schedule to get healthy once again, or at least kind of start a new winning streak. And it's going to come at the expense of Cheyenne South, where you got to imagine a loss like that. It's going to feel the East Side Lady Thunderbirds of, hey, we want to take it out on someone. Here's that rightful opponent.
And again, with the South High Lady Fighting Bison, Coach Epler's needing 4 quarters. He has yet to see that from. And again, they're young, mixed in with some veteran talent, but again, they have not put together 4 consistent quarters this season, and we saw that against Green River. They played well in the first half. Third quarter, you saw that little slough off, and then in the fourth quarter, it was game set match to the Lady Wolves. So if this Cheyenne South team can put 4 quarters together, do they beat Cheyenne East? No, but I'll guarantee you they're going to be probably on their top game. Like you said, at least Cheyenne South is going to bring their A game. They may not win, but they will bring their A game.
This is something where, again, in our opinion, or at least in my opinion, again, looking at both of the teams and the small sample sizes that we have so far here in 2023, but again, Cheyenne East versus Cheyenne South, even if it's a neutral site, even Cheyenne South is the host team to be, at least to a certain extent at Story Gymnasium, but this game could get ugly and could get ugly fast, just due to the fact that Cheyenne East, I think, is going to have that mentality of, again, we want to win big, we want to avenge that loss, we want to take it out on someone, and here's that rightful opponent. And I think that's for Cheyenne South, and it's the unfortunate thing for Cheyenne South that you're in the way of now an awakened giant that, again, tasted defeat, doesn't have to worry about records or anything like this. All that pressure's kind of lifted off their shoulders. Now they're going to play East High Lady Thunderbirds basketball, and I think, unfortunately, this game might be out, at least well out of hand at the end of the first quarter, or at least by halftime.
Well, and very rarely do I agree with you on anything, but you're absolutely right. The Cheyenne East Lady Thunderbirds are going to take it out on Cheyenne South. But really, what I'm hoping for Coach Epler's team, they bring the A game. Again, there is no margin for error for the Lady Fighting Bison. They already know. They already know that the odds are stacked up against them. David versus Goliath. We can throw all the analogies out there. If they can at least bring the A game, get on the right track, be competitive. This is something for this South program to build on through the course of the conference season.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, we will see, again, what South is capable of. Again, are they a state tournament-bound team this season on the girls' side? No, they're far from it. Again, it's going to be a developmental process with Coach Epler, again, for next season and the season after to see where they kind of stand. But, again, Cheyenne East, South, again, as we mentioned on the girls' side, both boys action as well, too. And we'll get to boys probably in the second hour. But Cheyenne East, Cheyenne South, again, this is going to be that ugly contest that Cheyenne East is going to look to thump someone, and they have that opportunity against Cheyenne South at Story coming up this Thursday. Again, tip-off for that contest, tentative 6 o'clock, and again, we'll have it here live on 1480 K-Ray. Saturday's action, as I mentioned, again, Burns and Pine Bluffs. Burns hosting Pine in this battle for Laramie County. On the girls' side, I mentioned, again, Burns kind of took their lumps over the weekend. Again, for Pine Bluffs, kind of split the pair, again, losing to Southeast, the Southeast team out of Class 1A, getting the victory over the Colorado team, again, 41-18. Standings right now in Class 2A on the Southeast quadrant, Lingle Fort Laramie on the girls' side sit at 8-4. They do have the 1-0, at least conference record, as they defeated Lusk this weekend. Lusk 3-6, and they are 0-1 in conference play. Burns right now 5-8, Pine at 4-10. So Burns right now finds themselves in second place in the Southeast quadrant. Burns behind them at 4-10. As much as both of those teams are a little behind in the standings, and again, are either of them state tournament bound, we shall see. Again, it might be more so hopeful for the Burns Lady Bronx, but this is going to be, again, as much as both of those teams are sub 500, I think this is going to be a good old-fashioned battle coming up on Saturday live from Burns.
Yeah, I agree. I think, again, with Burns sitting at 5-8, Pine at 4-10, and they've had very good preseason schedules. So
again, we talked with Coach Ward, talking about where, again, he stacked up that preseason, that non-conference schedule again, and got healthy, a part of their 2A SmackDown the previous weekend, where, again, they won 4 straight, ran into a very talented Bridgeport team, and, again, he alluded to of, hey, they're one of the best in Nebraska at that classification. Well, they proved, again, winning that contest 78-35. So, for the Burns Lady Broncs, I give them a slight edge in that contest to win it at home. But this could come down to the wire in the girls' action between Pine and Burns, which, again, does matter to the standings, or at least, again, as you start to look towards where you are in the standings, because, again, this will be a conference game as well, too. You'd rather have that 2 seed than that 3 seed going into that East Conference Regional, especially in Class 2A.
Do we want to take a break, getting us up to the top of the hour, and save the boys for...
Yeah, that'd be the plan.
Okay, let's do that. So let's take a quick break. And again, we'll have a couple of guests join us here in the 12 o'clock hour. New Central soccer coach, so we'll be talking with him. And we also have Eric Westling, East High head basketball coach for the Lady Thunderbirds. That will be joining us as well, too. So again, looking forward to more of the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti. He's Nick Proietti. We're back after we pay these bills.
Wyoming Food Bank of the Rockies is leaning in. We know this is a difficult time for many Wyoming families, and that nobody should suffer due to a lack of food. If you or someone you know is in need of nutritious foods, go to our website at wyomingfoodbank.org and click on Get Help. We also need your help. Go to our website, click the Give tab, then Events to learn how you can help your community through volunteering and making a donation. You can play a role in fighting hunger and feeding hope. Please give today.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-501-9096. 800-501-9096. 800-501-9096. That's 800-501-9096.
Happy New Year and welcome to 2023 from the Terry Bison Ranch. And most importantly, a huge thank you for your continued support. The Terry Bison Ranch wants to let you know that they will be closed throughout the month of January, as they will be remodeling to bring you more entertainment, delicious food, and of course, fantastic family fun. Remember, the Terry Bison Ranch will be closed for remodeling from now until January 31st. Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. It's your one-stop to shop for these super radio buys heard only right here. Sailor Jerry's Spiced Rum, 1.75-liter bottle, $25.99. Sam Adams, all available varieties, 12-pack, 12-ounce bottles or cans, $15.49. And Jose Cuervo Golden Margaritas, original or strawberry, 1.75-liter bottle, $18.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader. MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, partly sunny with increasing clouds. Expected daytime high near 35. Snow on tap later today. A winter storm watch is in effect for tonight through tomorrow. Snow for this evening. New snow accumulation of 3 to 5 inches possible. Our low drop it down to 20, and for tomorrow Wednesday, snow likely under a cloudy sky, blustery conditions. Look for a daytime high of only 29 degrees.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Right now on 1480 K-Ray, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 K-Ray. It is hour number 2 of our program for today. Again, we'll meet up with the new Central soccer coach, and again, some great soccer programs over there under Coach Dennison over the years. So again, we'll see how that program will maintain under the new leadership. And again, Eric Westling joined us from Cheyenne East. Nick, we were talking about girls hoops and kind of getting a read on what we're seeing on the girls' side right now.
The weekend that was, again, with all the cancellations, with all the postponements, and yes, again, games were able to be played, especially with all 5 of our at least high schools on the girls' side. Same with the boys. Again, East and Riverton on the boys' side did get at least postponed to now. Again, January 28th. That Saturday will be played. Again, happening here in town. But either way, again, all of our teams were able to play. Again, we'll start on Tuesday's action. We'll go down to Class 2A. The Burns Bronx on the guys' side taking on that same Bridgeport, Nebraska team. Burns unfortunately losing that game 80-56 against another talented, again, Bridgeport. Similar to Scottsbluff, again, Bridgeport boys and girls, again, they're talented, and they proved that against these Bronx teams, at least previously on Tuesday. Friday's action in 2A, Pine Bluffs taking on number 1, or at least the 1A Southeast squad. Pine Bluffs winning that game 56-41. Central in action against Scottsbluff on the road. Central winning in a last-second shot 56-55. So the Central High boys taking down that Scottsbluff team on the road, and again in the final seconds getting that victory. Saturday's action, it was power pack Cheyenne South at Wheatland. South on the boys' side getting at least taking care of business against the Class 3A Wheatland Bulldogs 48-45. Central taking on Cherokee Trail team out of Colorado, winning that contest 72-61. Pine Bluffs taking on Holyoke out of Colorado. Pine Bluffs on the Hornet side, again, the boys winning that contest 52-41. And Cheyenne East on the boys avenging the loss of the Eastside Lady Thunderbirds, winning over the Scottsbluff Bearcats 52-48. So that's how it sizes up very quickly on the at least standings-wise as of right now, especially in Class 4A. On the southeast side, Central boys standing at 10-2 as of right now. Cheyenne East, the Thunderbirds, 9-2. Laramie, the Plainsmen, 8-4. Cheyenne South, at least rounded up at the bottom, 4-7. So that's how the southeast quadrant looks right now here in Class 4A on the boys' side. Central East getting some quality wins. Central, again, getting that last-second shot. Again, East, and again, we'll see East versus South coming up this Thursday. I think similar to the girls' side, again, boys, it might be a little bit more competitive, but I think East should win that contest as well, too, against Cheyenne South.
And this is where we'll disagree. I think South is going to be that dark horse team that's going to sneak up on you. They may not have the size, but they've got the kids. They've got the kids with a lot of heart, and that's not selling short Central or East. Right now, I'm liking Cheyenne Central. Again, just simply for the fact they made that move, moving Williger from the 2 to the 4 where Talich was at.
Yeah.
And, again, bringing Jackson Whitworth off, where he's in the backcourt helping out with Shumway. And, again, you're bringing an experienced backcourt player for Cheyenne Central who's been there, done it. Again, Brown and Sawyer are very – again, these are all conference, possibly all-state players right there for Coach Jim Schaefer. On the Cheyenne East side – again, I still have my druthers about the middle. That's the only thing I worry about with Cheyenne South. I like Jackson. I like Marriage. I also, again, I can also, look at, Coulter McAnally. He definitely, again, the baseball player definitely needs to pick it up there as he plays at that number 4 for the Cheyenne Thunderbirds. Again, we talk about Garrett Schlabs. Schlabs tries to do a little too much for the Cheyenne Thunderbirds, but he's all over the place. And again, he's getting your rebounds, he's getting steals, he's great in transition for the Cheyenne Thunderbirds. But again, Kaiser Jolly, to my opinion, Nick, he's the trump card for Rusty Horsley. He's got to take that game to that next level when you're 6'6", and again, very few teams are going to be bringing guys in 6'6".
Yeah.
You got to be a force under the boards. You got to get those putbacks too for the East High Thunderbirds. So, and with Cheyenne South, again, boy, I liked how they handled the basketball.
Again, for Cheyenne East, again, matching up with Cheyenne South, as we need to get to our guests. Apparently, the door is locked as well, too. I don't know if you did that, so you might want to go take care of that.
I know.
But either way, though, for Cheyenne East taking on Cheyenne South, again, I think it's a situation that height will play a big factor in that contest. That, again, they will take on, again, that Cheyenne South team pretty. Again, I don't want to say as handily as in the girls' contest, but should have at least no problem coming away with the victory over Cheyenne South coming up this Thursday night. Again, 7:30 is a tentative tip-off time there at Story Gymnasium. Again, Cheyenne East, they got talent, they got the size. Yes, it's something that they got to clean up a few things. Again, start establishing the height on that inside without a doubt with Jolly, as you were alluding to, but again, we shall see, what this East High team is made up as they get into conference play. Again, we talk about East Thunderbirds, Central. Again, that's going to be two very highly competitive contests between those two. Again, that could go either way. Don't overlook Laramie. We'll see on the Plainsman side, again, on the boys, again, what they can do as they will compete this weekend as well, too. Cheyenne South, yes, they're going to be a scrappy punch out, just knock out, just bunch throughout the season. But can they come away with victories over Central, over East? And I'll even toss out Laramie. I don't see it. Just again, I think
I don't think they go
lack of size
in this
hurts
East.
them.
I don't think they go winless in this East. I think they're going to come up.
I think they could get wins against Northeast teams. I think they can compete against Northeast teams. But here in the Southeast quadrant, where, again, I talk about how healthy basketball is here, especially with the two East and Central programs, I think South, where their victories are going to come in the Eastern Conference, is where you look up to the Northeast right now. Again, looking at the standings, Sheridan 6-3, Natrona County sitting at 5-5, Thunder at 4-6, Campbell County at 3-8. You might sneak one against Thunder. You might sneak one against Campbell when they come down here or when you travel up to Gillette. But for Cheyenne South, though, again, to pick up the victories here in this quadrant, as we get into that play coming up this weekend, it's going to be really tough. Again, East-South boys compared to East-South girls. Girls, I think, win comfortably, and again, that might be out of hand by the first quarter or by half. This game might be a little bit more competitive, but I think Cheyenne East turns on that afterburner in the fourth quarter and just kind of really separates themselves, like we saw on Thursday's action a couple weekends ago against Rock Springs, where, again, they struggled to get out of the blocks. They kind of play down to the competition, but then really turn it up where it matters in that fourth quarter, and again, win fairly comfortably, at least by a double-digit lead. I think that's going to be the reality in this boys' contest between East and South come up this Thursday at Story, that East should win, and East will win fairly healthy, or at least fairly comfortably. And again, I'd say probably about a 12-15 lead.
You're talking about the girls?
I'm talking boys.
Okay.
I think East play. I think what you're seeing, kind of East does play down to its competition without a doubt, and I think that's going to be the issue for the East High Thunderbirds throughout this season. I think we'll see that a little bit, at least between this contest on Thursday. That, give credit to South, they're a scrappy bunch. They're going to do whatever it takes to come away with a victory. But I don't think the lack of height really hurts this team in Class 4A.
The Fighting Bison are going to be exactly what they are. They're going to be fighting Bison all throughout the course of this basketball season. They are going to sneak up.
Is this a team that can represent the Eastern Conference in the state tournament?
Don't know.
Especially with this quadrant. And again, we'll see what happens out of the Northeast. Don't overlook Thunder. Don't overlook Natrona. Sheridan sitting at 6-3. And who knows with Campbell County right now. Again, they've also, too, you look at some of those Northeast teams, and their non-conference have taken on some pretty elite teams.
We've seen Sheridan. I saw Sheridan. They're okay. Sheridan also is a good program. They're not the program.
They got height and size.
They're not the program that they once was. Natrona's been down for years on the boys' side. Don't see them being a factor. Campbell County, they're struggling a little bit, and of course the Thunder situation again. With Max Lawrenson passing away. Right now, it hasn't been the rallying cry, and I don't mean that in disrespect, but it's been a situation where Thunder's just been playing. right around 500 basketball. So,
like I said, they've also have faced some pretty top tier teams and some of these out of state
we've
tournament.
seen Sheridan. Sheridan is okay. They're not great shakes. And again, Natrona, they're
again your best teams right now in 4A East on the boys side, East and Central without a doubt. Laramie right now, again, I'm very curious to see the outcome.
Off my radar.
Again, Laramie, curious to see how they are this weekend when they take on the Southeast Quadrant, how they fare against East Central, and again, including Cheyenne South. Again, Laramie's kind of that dark horse team that I think on the boys' side can make it to the state tournament. South is a fringe team. We'll see how they scrap it out without a doubt. But again, do not disrespect, even though, again, standings kind of show otherwise right now in the Northeast. Don't look all for those teams in the Northeast who, again, have faced off some top-tier teams.
Yeah, I won't. I'm just giving you my opinion, what I've seen thus far.
South, again, for the Fighting Bison on the boys' side, they have a shot to make it to the state tournament this year without a doubt. I think that, again, it's a scrappy team. They're going to fight. They're going to claw. They're going to do everything it takes to come away with a victory. Again, similar to what we saw against Green River. They got it done against Wheatland without a doubt. But again, when we take on this Eastern Conference, how are they going to fare? Again, it's going to be an uphill battle for Cheyenne South on the boys' side to get in that state tournament.
Size kills them right now, and again, for the South High Fighting Bison, I wouldn't want to face them in the regionals. That's my opinion right now. What I saw, one game, that was the litmus test for me for the South High Fighting Bison.
Very quickly, again, I know our guest is here, and again, we'll get to him here very shortly, but 2A Southeast Quadrant very quickly on the boys' side. I want to give standing updates. Lingle Fort Laramie, 7-5, 1-0 in conference record. Again, defeating Lusk over the weekend. The Lusk right now sitting at the bottom at 1-8, 0-1 in conference play. Pine Bluffs, 12-2.
Keep on rocking and rolling,
they're still one of the top dogs here in Class 2A. And Burns right now on the boys' side sits 4-9. Again, we will see boys action, Pine and Burns at Burns. Pine, that might be a game where they win comfortably in that one. Where, again, we talk girls action should be a little bit closer. That's kind of a virtual coin flip between Pine and Burns on the girls' side. Boys, you feel comfortable that Pine, even on the road, should win that.
But the nice thing, Burns and Pine playing together, like East Central. It's going to have that flair, and you just never know sometimes. But
it's going to be a packed crowd. It's going to have a lot of high emotions without a doubt. But I think Pine, though, again, who are still
got the veteran talent,
and they're in the top 5 of the polls. And again, they've proven that they are one of the best in Class 2A. Are going to do it against Burns, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that, but I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of motion in this one. And again, it's nice to see that I-80 series in the eastern part of the county. We're going to have Dirk Driskal joining us here coming up in just a little bit. He is the new Central soccer coach, and we'll have him sit down here at this microphone. We'll be back after this timeout. You're listening to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti. He's Nick Proietti. We're back after these words.
Hop into the K-Ray Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 K-Ray, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480kray.com.
Tired of choosing between errands and adventures? Platte Valley Bank can help you take care of everything without missing anything. Next time you get a check, just sign, snap, and send the money directly into your account with mobile deposit. We can't fill your fridge, but we can save you a trip to the bank. Mark another errand off your list and get back to life. Platte Valley Bank, you belong here.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Cheyenne Regional wants to help you eat better, move more, and live longer. Join us at our annual Wake Up to Heart Health event on February 4th at 9 a.m. at the New Blue Community Events Center. You'll hear the survival story of a heart attack patient and his harrowing journey to the hospital, and from a Cheyenne Regional cardiologist about reducing your risk factors for a heart attack. The cost to attend this life-changing event is only $25. To register, visit CheyenneRegional.org/wakeup by January 31st.
17 years, and we're still striving to offer you the best value in a new vehicle. I'm AJ Miller here at Kia of Cheyenne. Come by and see the new 2023 Kia Sportage. 3 models and 7 trims available with powerful engine options, premium interiors, and on-demand tech features. Kia gives you more with an industry-leading warranty and roadside assistance from over 17,000 providers. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI FM and 1480 K-Ray AM, are just that, local. Serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here, we shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOI and 1480 K-Ray.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, partly sunny with increasing clouds. Expected daytime high near 35. Snow on tap later today. A winter storm watch is in effect for tonight through tomorrow. Snow for this evening. New snow accumulation of 3 to 5 inches possible. Our low drop down to 20, and for tomorrow Wednesday, snow likely under a cloudy sky, blustery conditions. Look for a daytime high of only 29 degrees. We welcome you back to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. And we bring on our next guest. He is the new head soccer coach at Cheyenne Central. And again, I remember this young man when he was a football player back in the day. Also knew his pop as well, too. Again, long, lustrous career over at Cheyenne High Clinic. We bring on Dirk Driskal. And Dirk, first off, congratulations on getting the position at Cheyenne Central. And for our listening audience, you're one of those rare coaches, kind of like Mike Lepore, when Mike was over at working at the airport golf course, even though he was a golf coach. You're not really on campus at Cheyenne Central, so tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days, in addition to coaching soccer now.
Well, thanks for having me on. Really, just thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad to be here. I have the unique opportunity of having an employer that is extremely flexible, lets me do this coaching for the past few years, 7 years. And I work over at the Department of Health. I'm an attorney and help run, the EMS office, Office of Rural Health, and emergency management folks for public health as well. So really unique opportunity, and it's, just happy to be not only a product of Central, but then come back and coach. And, legendary coach there, Tim Dennison's been there for years, and absolute mentor. What a legend. Pretty hard to follow in his footsteps, and hope I can take that opportunity and run with it.
And we've had that happen at Cheyenne Central. We've had those legendary coaches and then the next guy up taking over for these programs. But realistically, let's be real honest here, Dirk. The Central soccer program's in pretty doggone good shape. It's been in good shape for many, many years.
Sure.
You're walking into a situation where, hey, let's keep that momentum going.
Yeah, we have an absolutely outstanding community over at Cheyenne Central. Parents, players, everybody in the community involved. Just wonderful opportunity. I get pretty blessed with that program, I'll tell you that. We have a lot of skill that comes into that program. And then looking at the team this year, we're going to have a tremendously young team. I believe we have one returning varsity starter that's a senior.
And then the rest are juniors, sophomores, and probably some upcoming freshmen as well. So we have a lot of youth, a lot of potential, and the future is bright over at Central, I'll tell you that.
For you, Dirk, as you're alluding to right now, let's go into, again, your affiliation with this men's soccer program at Cheyenne Central where, again, you go now head coach, but under Coach Dennison, you were an assistant. So, again, at least you are familiar with the team. You're familiar with the athletes. Just go into, again, how many years or, again, just the background of being with the soccer program at Cheyenne Central.
Yeah, so I'm a product of Central. I'm born and raised here in Cheyenne. Been here since '89 when I was born over at DePaul. Went through the Cheyenne Central soccer program, went through the Sting soccer program for youth. Tim Dennison, I had the absolute wonderful opportunity to have him as a coach and also on not only as the high school level, but took a number of teams to do some international tournaments up in Minnesota in the summers and just been a wonderful mentor. And, as a player, went through the soccer program, played football over there too and swimming as well. And then had the unique opportunity about 7 years ago to coach for Tim and help out with the program. As you've alluded to, we've had a number of teams that have come through that have done wonderful things. 2015, I believe, is our last state championship. We've had a number of runner-ups, kind of, unfortunately didn't pan out in the finals, and at least 2 times that I can recall in the last few years, but that's the nature of soccer. That's the nature of those tournaments. We have a great program, and it's going to be fun this year.
For you, Coach, we're, again, assistant. You learned under Coach Dennison, again, now taking over his shoes, but offense, defense, the play style for Cheyenne Central on the boys' side, I mean, is there going to be any changes coming that, athletes have to at least get adjusted to? Or again, the soccer that we've seen over the past couple of years under Coach Dennison is going to be similar to now with just you as the head coach at Cheyenne Central?
Well, I'll tell you, if you ever talk to Tim Dennison, he is one of the most brilliant soccer minds that you might ever have. And if you have him on your show, he might fill a whole hour, maybe a whole afternoon. He is a brilliant man. So if I can take half of his institutional knowledge and half of his soccer brain and apply it, I think we're going to be in good hands. But, he has always run a possession-style-minded, play. I don't see that changing. A lot of with soccer is what you're doing is you're taking your personnel, you're putting them in the best position and going forward. So, some of that's going to be dependent on the personnel. We have largely a youthful team. We graduated 6 seniors last year that were starters. So we have some holes to fill. But the style of play is going to largely be, I anticipate, very, very similar. Just going into kind of who has graduated, we have last year Jackson Cook was our, I think, all-state senior, and he went and played D1 college for soccer. Tremendous goalkeeper. I think he was like 6'5". This guy was just a beast in the goal. So we have that shoe to fill. That's going to be a unique opportunity there as well. But, we have a lot of good returning starters that are going to carry that program, and I think we're going to be in good hands.
Dirk, one of the nice things that we, Nick and myself, got to see this year over at Cheyenne Central, obviously the new turf. And, again, we saw some really fast action. Mm-hmm. So, again, speed is going to be very important for this soccer team. Do you have to adjust, again, like we talk about LCCC, they play on regular turf. We're talking about the all-weather turf. This game goes a lot faster. Are you going to be a team built for speed?
Yeah, I hope so. Interestingly, when you play on turf, that ball runs. Play on grass, that doesn't run as well. And it actually, I prefer playing on grass. I think a lot of players do. You're seeing that with the NFL lately, where a lot of players are saying, hey, let's go back to grass. It's a little safer for us and whatnot. But, the turf itself, what a beautiful rendition they did over there, and really looking forward to it. Built for speed. Hopefully, we'll see. It just, with possession, you're more focused on just maintaining that ball and really running the other team around. And as long as that ball's in your hands, you have a pretty good chance to make something of it. Soccer's kind of unique in terms of, with football, you have the coach has a unique input on every single play, right? You also have a number of timeouts, 3.5. Basketball, same thing. You have a lot of opportunity for intervention and moving around. Soccer's just unique because you have 40 minutes at the high school level that is unfettered. There's no timeouts. Unfortunately, I think it's one of the hardest things to coach because you have to prepare your folks before the game to really be able to be mature out in that field and carry forward the strategy that's involved or how we prepared for a certain team. And you really get it only one time, which is at halftime, which is, maybe 5 minutes of this is what we're going to do differently. And outside of that, it's just substitution. So, I know I've expanded way beyond the question, but
no, we'll definitely take that. But
Yeah.
for you, Dirk, right now, Oregon recently announced as the new head coach at Cheyenne Central, where again practice is still a couple weeks away, and again the season still at least a few weeks away for Cheyenne Central on the soccer side. But there's still a lot of voids or a lot of things to do. Again, obviously we know schedule is set, but let's talk about staff. Where again, you assistant now head coach, you got to find that staff. We see in other, at least, programs here in Cheyenne, they kind of like to pick and choose over at LCCC for some of those coaches. But I guess what I'm alluding to for you coaches, what are now kind of the upcoming steps to get ready for this upcoming 2023 season?
Sure, yeah, a number of things. First, probably get open gyms going because we haven't done that quite yet, but that's on the list, getting the staff filled out, of course, and those are all things to count on in the near future. We'll see how that pans out. I'm not exactly sure. Probably going to have a conversation here soon about that. But, preparing for the season is largely just going to be just getting things in place so that we can come out firing on all cylinders. Uniquely, again, at football, you have 2-a-days and whatnot in the start of the preseason. Here we got about 9 practices, and we're ripping and roaring going for it. So it's going to go fast and furious, and we'll see how the season goes.
Dirk, one of the nice things that you were named the head coach, again, you've had the opportunity under Coach Dennison to see the conference. So, again, really, when you put your team out on the turf, nothing's going to surprise you. You know who's going to be the top dog team and what you need to do to get to that top level.
Sure. Yeah, it's we have a strong conference, and last year Sheridan was an extremely strong team. You probably are familiar with Colson Kuhn from that team. I expect him to be back out. That will be, I think, the team to beat this year. They are just a very sizable team and well coached. I think that's one thing that's been very unique to Wyoming soccer is I think every single team out there is extremely well coached. The community is very invested in the soccer community itself in Wyoming. And the youth programs across the state have really grown. And that's something that's been great to see growing up in the state. Soccer may not be the most popular in some respects, not like football at least, right? But it's grown tremendously. And I think you're seeing that across the nation too. So I think, since I started as a kid and since I've had the unique opportunity to coach under Tim Dennison, we've seen the soccer community grow. And I just also want to stress, my gosh, what a unique and awesome opportunity to coach with Tim. Tim has taught me so much, and I just, again, hope that I can carry forward half of the success he's had with his programs.
Again, you got to love that. It's soccer pretty healthy here in the southeast part of Wyoming. Again, whether it is our 3 high schools in action, again, the Cheyenne Sting operation as well, too, LCCC, men's and women's soccer, again, having their success year in and year out. But for you, Coach, you want to get into a personal kind of level where being announced, again, Cheyenne Central alum, played all those athletics, been a part of state title games. I know on the football side, again, you guys beating us in Cheyenne East in 2006. We'll never forget that game at Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. But either way, though, again, you know the pride, the tradition, the championship, the winning nature of Cheyenne Central. But for you, being announced as the head coach and taking over this program, emotions, talk about just the feelings of now, again, you have a chance to make your own history and statement at Cheyenne Central.
Sure, it's a tremendous amount of pride. Again, born and raised here. I'm a product of Central. I also live over in that area in Western Hills and just have a tremendous amount of pride for my community and for just Cheyenne in general. It's the reason I moved back, right? It's not just for soccer and everything else, but I absolutely love being a Wyoming. I love Cheyenne in general, and I'm just tremendously thankful for the opportunity to be able to coach this team, have any effect on these boys, because I'll tell you, they're just upstanding citizens. They're amazing, and it's looking forward to it.
All right, we have been talking with Dirk Driskal, who is the new head coach at Cheyenne Central. We wish you all the best. And
thank you.
We'll be catching up with you throughout the course of the season, especially when the weather gets a little warmer, too. Well, that's right. It's never warm during soccer season. Never mind. We'll catch up with you during the course of the season. Again, new head coach Dirk Driskal over at Cheyenne Central. We will be back with more of the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti. He's Nick Proietti. We're back after these words.
Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 30 years. With their fine expert doctors, along with their highly trained staff, they will provide top quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Since 1966, Cheyenne and Laramie County has depended on and trusted family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company for all your lumber and hardware needs at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
The next time you have a craving for authentic Mexican cuisine, visit Guadalajara at 1745 Del Range Boulevard. Locally owned and operated, they serve their dishes with family tried and true recipes with the freshest of ingredients, made to order. Start off your meal with their complimentary chips, salsa, and bean dip. And if you're feeling adventurous, enjoy your favorite margarita or cerveza. Guadalajara, where the spice is always nice.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, partly sunny with increasing clouds. Expected daytime high near 35. Snow on tap later today. A winter storm watch is in effect for tonight through tomorrow. Snow for this evening. New snow accumulation of 3 to 5 inches possible. Our low drop it down to 20. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, snow likely under a cloudy sky, blustery conditions. Look for a daytime high of only 29 degrees. We'll be chatting with our next guest here probably within about 15 minutes. That would be Eric Westling, head coach at Cheyenne East. And by golly, by the time we talk to him, the program's going to be about done. More hoops to talk about. And again, a couple of programs that are enjoying some success. As a matter of fact, we'll say the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles really enjoying some success right now. Golden Eagles, though, they've got a tough schedule, and they have shown the teams, Nick, that they are playing that, hey, it's not over until the final gun or final horn goes off.
Well, before we get into at least women's action, we'll talk men for the LCCC Golden Eagles. But again, had 2 contests over the past week, including one here in town on Saturday against Real Salt Lake, coming here to Story Gymnasium. But for LCCC on the men's side, splitting against 2 Salt Lake teams. Again, going on the road against Salt Lake Community College. Again, they are, I do believe, when we talk to Coach Southwick, they were number 4. So again, in the top 5. So a competitive team. LCCC, if I remember correctly, looking at the stat line in that contest, again, it was close. Again, LCCC was down by a point. It was 44-45 on the road against a top 5 team. It was the second half where that's kind of usually how it's been for the past couple seasons for LCCC, where first half is competitive, second half, these elite teams really kind of step on those afterburners and kind of put LCCC in the rearview mirror. LCCC did lose that contest 111-84 against at least Salt Lake Community College on the road. Again, we move to Saturday's action here in town. Golden Eagles taking down the Real Salt Lake Academy team, winning that contest 95-80. So, again, defense a little, again, where Coach Salisbury has kind of put emphasis of saying, hey, defense is going to be our strong suit. Defense a little bit lacking. The offense has really stepped it up. Again, putting 95 against Real Salt Lake on Saturday. But, for LCCC right now, sitting, I do believe, around that 10-7 mark. Do have a contest coming up tonight on the road against Trinidad State. This men's team, again, interested to see what they're going to fare like in Region 9 North play, which, again, I do believe is upcoming here this week, as I do believe they're traveling up to Riverton to see Central Wyoming College. Yeah. This is a men's team that's going to battle, is going to scrape for in all of their contests. I do believe so, but how are they going to fare when we see Western, Western Wyoming, when we see Casper? Is this team still kind of a little step behind those top-tier programs, at least here within Region 9 North Division?
Well, again, Salt Lake Community College, and again, like you said, it was one of those, hey, we played great for 20 minutes, and then, they had a little bit of runs in the second half, and then, Salt Lake Community College showed why they're number 4 in the nation.
Yeah.
But,
got a scare at half by LCCC, but we've seen this over the past couple of years that we've covered LCCC, and part of those games that, again, they'll take on that top 25 opponent, play them very well at half, but it's can they play that full 40 minutes? And, again, still waiting for this LCCC team, whether it is under previous head coach Jason Ficca, now with head coach Dwayne Salisbury, where, again, you're still waiting for that team to at least kind of play that full 40 against a top 25 opponent to kind of get that program statement victory within a season.
I'm glad the loss happened against Salt Lake Community College, because way they bounced back against Real Salt Lake, that tells me something about this team. And, again, they got a little bit of humble pie, especially in that second half against Salt Lake Community College. They saw what the big boys are all about.
Yeah.
You want to be the big boys, this is how you got to play. And then they came back over to LCCC to beat Real Salt Lake 95-80.
At least Story Gymnasium.
Oh, sorry. But the thing is, with Dwayne Salisbury's team, again, they are still growing. So as they're getting ready for conference play, they still, I don't want to say so much there's bugs, but there's a lot of these young guys that are still fitting in. And again, one of the nice things about this LCCC.
See, and I don't think that's a valuable excuse against LCCC, where, again, look at the women right now, where, again, you got a lot of pieces that are freshman, sophomore that are gelling together, and they're having a phenomenal season as of right now. We'll get into the women of where they are.
But you don't have
that. Again, but the men, though, they got weapons, they got talent. This is a team that just needs to find that consistency
But
within
they don't
them.
have that number one point guard that we have been spoiled with over the last few years. They still need that leadership. The leadership is on the floor.
Well, again, your point guard was McCord, but, again, he's gotten help, though. Again, Coach Salisbury addressed that, and, again, they have that interchangeable point guard out there where, again, that was kind of the main, at least, reason. Or, again, look at the past couple seasons. Look at with Oliver. Look at McCord, where, again, you had no help for them. They have help.
But you've had Max Reyes. You had Ariane Lewis at the point. These guys pretty much took a lot of pressure off X. Hey, look at McCord. McCord is getting you double-doubles because, again, he is a good outside shooter. He's a good inside man, and he's also a guy that's going to crash the boards for you. You need to take a lot of pressure. That point has got to be the one that is distributing the basketballs out. Also got to be able to bust through that and open up the paint. So, again, it's still that
you're consistent guy on the team, again, outside of Xavier McCord. Again, we've seen what he can do, again, whether it was at Cheyenne East or, again, now his time here with LCCC. Again, he's a consistent guy. Again, for the past couple seasons, he just needed a lot of weight taken off his shoulders. He needed someone else to kind of step up and kind of at least get that offense production to his level. Well, LCCC is seeing that right now out of Jordan Reed, who, again, in both games came away as the top point getter with 23 points. It's something that, again, I think where emphasis is on defense, and Coach Salisbury, where, again, we previewed the season, said, hey, I'm tired of winning these 90-91 contests. Defense has really got to step it up. Well, defense kind of took a step back here in the past couple of contests. See if it can get going here where now you get back into conference play, albeit, again, you're taking on a Region 9 South team, again, with Trinidad State on the road. But once you get into North play, that defense is going to be very handy. it's got to step up, especially when you are, again, we look on the men's side here in Region 9, especially in the North Division, every single team, and I will put every single team, has a shot at being the number 1 seed and hosting this Region 9 tournament. Because, again, men get that chance here on the north side to host that regional tournament coming up in March. Western Wyoming's a threat. Casper's a threat. Central Wyoming seems improved. Northwest as well, too, up there in Powell.
Yeah.
Cannot overlook Eastern as well, too. You got some talent, every single team. Again, I'll equate it to the Eastern Conference here in the state of Wyoming on high school basketball side. That, again, this division, any given Wednesday or Saturday afternoon or night, any one of these teams can pull off a victory.
But also, too, and again, with the LCCC Golden Eagles, I wouldn't want to face them. They're a run-and-gun team. They got great transition. Now, again, like you mentioned, they add a little more in the middle defensively. This team might be unstoppable. But again, giving up only 80 to Real Salt Lake, that's a good defensive effort. Matter of fact, when they pretty much had that thing wrapped up against Real Salt Lake in the second half, that 80's a little, I distorted. They did play a good defensive effort against Real Salt Lake. So what I'm saying is with this team, I would hate to be, we could get Coach Sosa on from Western. He would tell you right now, this is a nightmare team to go up against.
Yeah, but again, I put any team in this Region 9 North Division, again, a nightmare-esque, at least, opponent for either or. Again, especially as we focus on LCCC. Again, whether it's home or the road, again, Western, Eastern, Casper, Northwest, Central Wyoming, this is going to be a dogfight to get that number 1 seeding. And, again, whoever comes away with that number 1 seeding, who, again, hosts this tournament here in the state of Wyoming, puts them in a good position to at least get to that Region 9 tournament finals, where I think that this is beneficial for LCCC. If they can survive what is upcoming in the divisional fight up until the month of March, LCCC, I think it prepares them enough to go through that Region 9 tournament and finally get past that hump to garner a Region 9 championship to get into that national tournament. I think it prepares them that, again, these dogfights, these battles, I think is going to help prepare them if they survive. And I think that's kind of the key thing. If they can survive, and again, that is encompassing avoiding injury, sickness, whatever, again, any collapses out there for LCCC, if they can survive this divisional fight that is upcoming for them, I think it will prepare them pretty damn good for, again, the Region 9 tournament, where what is the goal? Is to win that Region 9 championship, which has eluded LCCC's, at least LCCC men's basketball for many a season now.
Don't be surprised in this conference in the North that 1 or 2 losses wins you the conference, because I think, like you mentioned,
I think look to a couple seasons ago where 3 losses got
it
you.
Might even be 3 losses for sure. But again, this is going to be a dogfight conference from the get-go every night. But again, like I said, we know Coach Sosa over at Western, and again, Coach Anderson over at Eastern. They're going to tell you, preparing for LCCC is going to be so tough because, again, the way Dwayne has them running up and down the floor, this is a good transition team on the go. They could like you said earlier, they could shore up that defense just a little bit. This is going to be a team that you definitely won't want to play.
Turnovers, free throws. Again, there's a lot of things that still need to be
the intangibles.
The intangibles, without a doubt. They got to get at least kind of shored up as they play that Region 9 North division, where, again, it's going to be a bloodbath, and they got to play their A game every single afternoon or night, whether it's a Wednesday or Saturday. They got to prepare that they're taking on some very talented teams all up and down that standings here in the Region 9 North. Very quickly on the women's side, as again, we got a few minutes, and then we'll get Coach Westling on to round out today's show. But the women's side, what can you say for Coach Mack? That 14-4 after winning on a neutral site in Scotts Bluff over at the Cougar Palace, taking on Northeastern Junior College, avenging that loss again earlier down there in Sterling, Colorado. But avenging that loss, 14-4, this LCCC team, and we talk about divisional play, it's pretty much them and Casper, I think, are the 2 top dogs. Again, we'll see about Eastern, but that's kind of the marquee matchup I'm looking forward to. Can LCCC take down the perennial favorite, that is the Casper College Lady Thunderbirds? And I think they can. Again, let's allude that Casper on the women's side are still sitting pretty in the top 25 in the national polls.
They got the talent to do it. Lila Spring, Hallie Hester, sophomore Hallie Hester. These are ladies that I think Coach Mack is depending on double-doubles from them each and every time out. And the good news for the Lady Golden Eagles, again, 18 games for some of these freshmen because, again, they're not used to this type of schedule. Yeah. Again, you go high school, you're getting about 25, maybe 30 games in a season.
Which is something that all these JUCO coaches have to deal with.
Yeah,
again,
but
you're
again,
getting that young talent in.
Especially with the kids now. But, like Monique Marcetic-Bateni, I think she was the leading scorer against NJC where she had 15 points. But they get this week off after that win against Northeastern as they prepare for CWC. So I think the rest for the Lady Golden Eagles comes at the right time as they get ready for conference play. Yeah. But again, looking at the conference, you mentioned Casper, you mentioned Eastern. Those are the top two teams really, and Coach Mack will say all of them are tough. I agree with her. I know Powell's going to be a fighter. It's always been a fight for the ladies.
The teams where, again, at least on a fan aspect and, again, on a kind of talking head aspect, you can overlook Western Wyoming, you can overlook Central Wyoming just due to the fact that they are still struggling right now here in this division. But, yeah, it's going to be, again, Northwest, I'll put them in. But LCCC, I think right now, again, standing at 14-4, they've proven a lot so far in their battles, whether it's non-conference or, again, with Region 9 South opponents, including Northeastern, including Trinidad, including, again, taking on Western Nebraska. This team is very impressive. This team can, again, I think the only team that stands in front of them, and that's why the home and road battles between them and Casper College are going to be so important this season. If they can find a way some success against the Lady Thunderbirds, I think LCCC stamps them as one of the favorites to win this Region 9 championship in that tournament to get to that point, because I think LCCC's proven that they got the talent, they got the tools, that everything's firing on the right cylinder. And, right now, Coach Mack, and we've alluded to whether it was Coach Ortmeyer, Coach, again, at the interim time, again, Coach Ronaldo, or now with head coach Iona McWilliams, that LCCC, at this point in program's history, has the first legitimate shot of winning 20 games in a season.
I think that's going to happen for the Lady Golden Eagles. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But also, too, I think with Coach Mack, we'll mention a Casper College. And, again, Eastern in that same breath. But, again, they can hang tough with the Lady Thunderbirds. They've got the talent. They've got the size. They've got the speed. So, again, I think they can give Casper and Coach Canary all they can handle this year. And we saw it last year in the old rack where the Lady Thunderbirds were kind of clean a little bit, and then they eventually pulled away. But I think this is a different outfit.
This is a different LCCC team, yeah.
I think they're going to be very, very good this year. We're going to take a break. We come back. Head coach Eric Westling of the Cheyenne Lady Thunderbirds joins us as we get ready to close out our program here on 1480 K-Ray.
K-Ray has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY-FM, and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both K-Ray and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proietti at 307-637-0301.
Tired of choosing between finances and family time? Platte Valley Bank can help you take care of everything without missing anything. With our online and mobile banking, you can experience immediate access to check your account balance, pay bills, transfer money, and even create a budget. When life has you on the go, Platte Valley Bank makes it simple to take your banking with you. Platte Valley Bank, you belong here.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
At the Cheyenne Regional Heart and Vascular Institute, you're welcomed with the warmth of a community hospital and cared for with help from the most advanced technology in the industry. With our full spectrum of in-house heart services and procedures, you can get the treatment you need, recover, and get right back out there, all while remaining close to home. Find out more at CheyenneRegional.org/heart.
For 17 years at Kia of Cheyenne, we have strived to offer the best value in a new vehicle. I'm AJ Miller, and the new 2023 Kia Seltos will take on the roads with rugged capabilities for all climates. The 2023 Kia Seltos has available all-wheel drive, 10-inch touchscreen, heated seats, and turbocharged power. With a new Kia, get one of the best warranties in the business. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
1480 K-Ray is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. To hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 K-Ray features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 K-Ray, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480kray.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, partly sunny with increasing clouds. Expected daytime high near 35. Snow on tap later today. A winter storm watch is in effect for tonight through tomorrow. Snow for this evening. New snow accumulation of 3 to 5 inches possible. Our low drop it down to 20. And for tomorrow Wednesday, snow likely under a cloudy sky, blustery conditions. Look for a daytime high of only 29 degrees. Welcome back to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti, and we get a chance to wrap up our program today with East High Lady Thunderbirds head coach Eric Westling. And Coach, I'm not going to beat the dead horse about the loss on Saturday, but what I do want to ask you, we lost that game on Thursday. I know it's going to be made up later on. I guess we found an open date. But does that throw off the schedule a little bit? Because, you practice Wednesday night, getting ready for Riverton. Thursday morning, you find out that they're not coming. Does that kind of throw off your schedule a little bit with the ladies?
It does a little bit. Our approach, as I've said many times, is the game in front of us. And so when we're ready to play Riverton, we get off that. And, I don't know. I think it's unfortunate, but I mean, if the last 4 or 5 years have proven anything, you just got to be ready to roll with the punches here in Wyoming or in the world. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but it was tough. You
go to Scotts Bluff, you face the Lady Bearcats, and again, let's tip their cap to that program again, where they have eyes from Western Nebraska, Creighton. Again, the likes of Chadron State, even University of Nebraska, eyes on those young ladies. They have slowly but surely through the years, and I've been around here for about 37 of them, have seen this Lady Bearcats program develop into one of the top tier programs, especially on the western side of Nebraska.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why we love playing them. And they're going to challenge us. They're going to give us everything they have. And again, they did a phenomenal job, shot it really, really well, and just gave us the kind of game we thought we were going to have. So definitely want to say that they earned that win, and we just didn't have it. Okay, and then we also got to throw the likeness out. Who did they remind you of as we get ready for conference play? So if I'm going to draw a connection, we played Campbell this year as well already, and they remind me a lot of Campbell. They are kids that get up and down the floor, and if you leave them open, they're going to knock down shots. So that would be my comp is Campbell County. Coach, again, as we alluded to, Riverton, that contest postponed to later here in the month, at least January 28th. Getting that rescheduled after, the snowstorm that hit Wyoming, and unfortunately had to at least skip that contest, focus on Scotts Bluff, where, that 48-game winning streak comes to an end. Still tying the record with Douglas on the girls' side, but did not set that record. Now, Coach, kind of want to get into this, topic where that record stopped. We lost, I guess, with the loss against Scotts Bluff. We talk about the record that's been talked about the entire state of Wyoming, all that kind of pressure on your Lady Thunderbirds, all the attention that they are receiving. With the loss, I mean, does that kind of help now focus up Cheyenne East, that all this weight that they've been bearing, all the attention now kind of just goes aside, and now you can go kind of focus back on Cheyenne East Lady Thunderbirds basketball? Yeah, it does, and I guess I would. The thing that a loss isn't bad. If you handle it correctly, you can take the things you need to take from it. We were in an adverse environment. Things weren't going our way. A lot of kids in foul trouble, and I guess the thing that I took away from that is an extreme pride I have in our kids. Handled every moment. They didn't complain to officials. They still tried to climb back in the game. I think we tied the game up about 3 times. And just, when that final buzzer sounded, I saw my kids with grace, have a lot of integrity, and we walked off that floor, and in the locker room, nobody is defeated. We're ready to go. We're ready to, all our goals are in front of us, and we're ready to get to work on them.
Coaches, you now have to prepare as, again, game we'll have, and we've alluded to and previewed coming up this Thursday night at Story Gymnasium, taking on Cheyenne South, the Lady Fighting Bison. Lady Fighting Bison under Coach Epler, again, have had their struggles this season, sit right now 1-10. For your East High Lady Thunderbirds, again, coming off that loss, again, going and focusing back on to Cheyenne East Thunderbird, at least Lady Thunderbird basketball. Talk about preparation now to kind of get back into that winning set and basically say, hey, ladies, let's just start that record here today, again, one game at a time, and again, starts with Cheyenne South this Thursday night.
Right. Well, and knock on wood, hopefully we get to play Laramie on Wednesday. But there, I think our approach is to we talked a lot about, had conversations. Whether I had my conversation with the captains had their conversation with the team about what we didn't do in that game, and so I think we've got a good grasp of where we can improve. And, I just preparing for the next 2 opponents is where our minds are at, because these are conference games. These are the ones that matter. And so just kind of look at them. South is improving. Coach Epler's doing a good job. So we're looking at them and looking at their transition and their press and seeing what we can do about that.
And again, we will see about Wednesday's contest. Is again winter storm watch here in effect. Again, about 3 to 7 inches of snow expected here in southeast Wyoming. But let you at least.
Well, no, I was going to say, Coach, and Nick kind of alluded to that point. Again, after the loss on Saturday, and again, you've got veterans and you've got some new kids within that varsity program, and it seems to me. It's like the group that's currently been with you for a while kind of basically shrugged off that loss, got back onto the floor when we had practice to get ready for Laramie as well as for Cheyenne South, because it's like, hey, you know what? It's not conference, it's not state. We just got to get back to business.
It is, and it's that leadership of those those first 5 that have been in those battles, and now they haven't experienced a loss in quite some time, but again, we don't forget about how to be a winner and loser. And as a coach, that's all you take a step back and you look at the mannerisms of these kids and how they act in adversity. And, they really showed me all I wanted to see. And so we got a bunch of girls they know they've got everything in front of them as long as we put in the work and do what we can do.
Nick and I have had that opportunity to see one of your opponents, well, actually both opponents, but that was before the Christmas break down in Greeley, Colorado, the Lady Plainsmen. They are the real deal, and this is a team that on both sides going to pose a lot of problems.
Yeah, they do. They run well. Really good 2-2-1 press that they've worked on for a couple years now, and so they are. You don't take Laramie lightly at all. We had a really good day of practice yesterday getting ready for them, but yeah, I anticipate, just like we've talked about these battles. Well, the battle's upon us tomorrow, and I don't think there's a group of girls that are more ready for another game than my girls right now.
Is the home cooking kind of important as well too?
Any time that we can have a game in our gym in front of our parents and fans, it does nothing but help, and it helps our energy. I love our band section and our cheerleaders. They do a phenomenal job of making the environment just really fun. So, yeah, I would say it's good for us.
All right, Coach. Well, we're going to catch up with you Thursday evening against the Lady Fighting Bison. And, again, conference opening up for you tomorrow, weather permitting, fingers crossed, and all that other good stuff. Eric Westling, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Head coach of the East High Lady Thunderbirds, Eric Westling, joined us here on 1480 K-Ray. As our program really has just flown right by here. Again, thank you to our Dirk Dijkstol joined us here just a few minutes ago, the new central head coach. We also want to thank Jerry Schlabs from Cheyenne East, joined us in hour number 1. Looking ahead towards tomorrow, more of our pro show, and we'll get a chance to.
We focus on more of the pro aspect, again, whether it is recapping the NFL playoffs, without a doubt. I'm going to talk NBA, NHL notes. Also, too, again, at least we'll have one guest as of right now talking Denver Broncos, Cody Rourke. Again, at least friend of the show. We haven't had him on in quite some time since, again, we went kind of focus on local aspects. But, again, we will move to the pro side. Again, talk Denver Broncos, whether it's head coach and also to upcoming draft with him. So we're looking forward to our conversation, again, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow. Again, regarding today's program, tomorrow's program, again, both do get replayed at 4 and 6 o'clock here on 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRay.com. So, again, if you missed out on any of our conversations, again, throughout today's show or tomorrow's show, again, catch it, again, at least on the replay, 4 to 6 p.m., 8 until 10, Golden Age of Radio happening here live on 1480KRay, again, happening only today and tomorrow. Thursday, again, takes a step aside for Cheyenne East versus Cheyenne South. Boys and girls basketball, again, tip-off times for those contests, 6 and 7:30 live from Story Gymnasium. So looking forward to that. Very quickly, as we'll round out at least the top of the hour, again, Cheyenne East head coach, again, Eric Westling, giving my thoughts on at least what he had to say. Again, you got to imagine, though, that, again, the loss, as much as you don't want it, and, again, ends that record or the chance to break the record, a loss does this team a lot good, I think, for the remainder of the season to kind of focus up, get all that pressure off of their shoulders of this record and all this talk to now focus up on just play basketball and set their sights for another championship.
Do you really expect the Lady Thunderbirds to lose 2 in a row? I mean, let's be real honest.
Larry's unbeaten.
I understand that. And all right, case in point, they do lose. They get south on the schedule.
But again, it's a true test.
Yeah, they get healthy. So my point is, though, with the Lady Thunderbirds, like you said, the weight has been lifted. Not all the eyes are going to be on them anymore. It's going to be one of those situations where they get a chance now to defend their state championship, and they still got that bullseye on it. Yeah. Now they don't have a bullseye in the front and the back as well. All right, we got to wrap things up. So for Nick Proietti, I'm Larry Proietti. That's the Pro Show for today. We now return to regular programming on 1480 K-Ray.